The Los Angeles Dodgers are in the World Series for the second year in a row. One of their star players says his focus is to use the playoffs to honor God. Clayton Kershaw tells FCA magazine, which is run by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, you can't choose which talents God gives you, but you can control how you use them. Right now, he and the Dodgers could use a little divine help. They trail the Red Sox 2-0. Game 3 is tonight in Los Angeles. Joining me now to talk faith and sports is Doug Eldridge, a sports agent and public relations consultant. He's also the managing partner of DLE Agency. Doug, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, Wyatt.
We just heard Clayton Kershaw about his faith and how important that is to him. Are there any other devout Christians that are noteworthy we should note on the Dodgers or the Red Sox in the World Series?
Well, I think Clayton's story is so amazing, and we're going to address it, but sometimes the notion of Christian spirit and fortitude is emblematic in the smallest of things. Just last night, or should I say this morning, around 1 or 2 in the morning, Mookie Betts, the inevitable league MVP for the Red Sox, actually dropped off trays and trays and trays of hot food for the homeless in Boston outside the Boston Public Library. And the only reason we know that is because a random passerby happened to recognize him and take a pic of him and of the homeless as he quickly got into a car. So when we talk about walking the walk and deeds of faith beyond words, I think Kershaw's a wonderful example for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts is a wonderful example for the Red Sox. But Clayton Kershaw is truly emblematic of the strength of character and the depth of faith among the modern professional athlete.
That may be the key to my next question that I want to ask you, because we've heard of athletes quoting scripture or thanking God out loud for their performance. But how do you think it is that athletes talk about their faith more nowadays? Has things changed in the last decade or so in the way that they approach their faith?
No. The only thing that's changed is their platform and pedestal, the scope and reach and impact that they have in broader society to discuss their faith, right? You talk about Kershaw. He had Colossians 3:23 in his Twitter bio for the longest time. These athletes, when he talks about his platform, he talks about the obligation and the opportunity to lead by faith, to talk about the role that Christ has had in his life. He stands tall on the mound, but he walks arguably even taller and casts a larger shadow off the field and in the community. From the work that he's done in Africa with HIV orphans and the like, to the work that he's done there in Los Angeles helping the homeless. He's truly a lead by example, but he's not alone in that regard. I've shared stories of my own clients on the right, from John Jalapio, the starting center for the New York Giants, a devout Catholic, a Tongan. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was standing bedside when he was undergoing surgery and in deep prayer with his extended Tongan family. These guys are defined by faith. They're often recognized for their statistics and their records and their performance, but it's their faith, their passion, and their prayer that distinguishes them.
It's so interesting how they're able to use all the technology and all their resources in order to evangelize. I want to switch gears just a little bit. This week, the AP released its preseason college basketball poll. 2 Catholic schools are in the top 10. We have Gonzaga and then the defending champion Villanova. But last year, of course, women's basketball, Notre Dame, another Catholic school that did well. What is it about Catholic schools and basketball, Doug? Because we always hear about Catholic schools doing well at basketball, but we don't hear it as consistently when it comes to college football or college baseball, but consistently, year after year, it's Catholic schools and basketball. What is it about the culture or what they're eating? What is it?
Well, on the football field, Notre Dame is certainly having a good run this year. But on the basketball field, there's actually an interesting history, and we're confined by time today. But it's a really interesting story about how Catholic universities would always operate around the after-school programs and recruit inner-city talent, which was largely Catholic. And then when some of the Italians and Irish started to move outside of parts of the inner city, and it got, there was an ethnic conversion, the Catholic schools continued to recruit the young African American and Latino students who were replacing them in inner cities and recruiting them through the Catholic sports leagues, right? Which was also a conduit to the Catholic schools. And that faith, that conversion, irrespective of the urban populace, the faith has always been the continuity. Going back to what we were just saying a moment ago, when you asked, has anything changed? I said, no, the only thing that's changed is their platform. The durability and the depth of their faith has always been the same. And I think when we're talking about an inner city populace, when we're talking about the level of just concentration of talent and ability, I think that the Catholic schools have always done a tremendous program from having hands in the dirt and roots in the community, right? Not just working on the basketball court, but working in the broader game of life, helping families, dealing with faith, dealing with these children at every level of their advancement. And I think in the most back of the baseball card statistical type sense, I think it shows in their winning percentage.
Yeah, It's fascinating to hear about them and all these stories about these athletes.
But it's going to be a great season for basketball, a great season. I can't wait to talk to you guys again about it because I think it's going to be very, irrespective of some of the legal things that we've seen with Adidas this week in college basketball, I think it's going to be an incredibly exciting basketball season. We're in the dead middle of the college football season, and we've hit the midpoint of the NFL season. This is an exciting time for sports. Game 3 of the World Series tonight. It might be a long shot. No team has ever come back from 3 down, right? They're 2-0.
We'll be watching for sure.
If ever there was an opportunity to lead by faith, this is it.
There you go. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back. Doug Eldridge, partner of DLE Agency. Thanks so much for your analysis.
Thank you for having me.